Great. All right, everyone, welcome. Today we're going to talk about the listing presentation, how to prepare one, basically the breakdown of what information should be in there, organizing your thoughts, what's important to a seller, right, when you're sitting down and presenting to them, and what specialists you guys have. It's all about value proposition, right? Your listing presentation is a presentation of yourself, right? And what makes you special, what makes you unique, what value do you add to your seller, right? Anybody can put a presentation together, but it's important to identify in your presentation what makes you you, what makes you unique, and to focus on that as part of your overall presentation. I'm going to show you a couple of types that you can set up. There are templates set up in Command for you to use. There's also one in our KW intranet, which is through PowerPoint, which I had used. So it's totally up to you. The one in Command is a PDF format, and the one that's in the intranet is a PowerPoint format. And again, you can use any kind of format you like. The templates are a really good guide how to organize your thoughts, and it's up to you how you want to use it. If you want to use them as a more formal discussion when you meet with your sellers, then you feel free, go through the slides, go through them one by one. It's totally up to you, right? What you feel comfortable with. Or if you want to just kind of internalize it, have a presentation ready to go, just in case, you can refer to it. But a lot of this is so that you can internalize. It's almost like scripts, right? So you can internalize your thoughts and the things that you want to present. And then you can have a one-on-one discussion with the seller. So I'm going to let's go log into Command first, and I'll show you in Designs where you can find some templates of the listing presentation. So I'm going to share my screen. Okay, this actually is my personal one that I got from the intranet. But I want to actually show you first where to go, the two places you can go to get the information from. So I'm going to log into Command. What would we do without bookmarks, right?
I know, so many things.
Oh my gosh, so many bookmarks.
Losing track of it.
There's no way to remember this. Yeah, gotta bookmark it. Somebody said, what is the command URL? I said, I have no idea. I just bookmark it. Okay, so when you're in Command, right, you got the little tabs on the left, right? So we're going to go into the Designs. Okay, and let's see here. If you find, let me see if I do. These are all the ones that I've created. I think create a design, right? A print. Will this come up this way? Let's find out. This should give you, yeah, a whole bunch of templates. So if you go here to listings and you go to listing presentation, you have several templates here that you can choose from. Okay, so feel free to kind of go through them, whichever design you like the best. And again, this is going to be downloaded as a PDF when you guys are finished. So if you like a PDF format, like this is the way to go. Okay. It might actually be nice, like if you were going to be emailing the presentation to people, like that might be a good way to do it. Or even on Zoom, you can use it on Zoom, right? Do a presentation that way. And the other place, which is a PowerPoint, is if you go to our intranet. And you go to Market Center, intranet. And this is a good thing for you guys to know if you haven't navigated the intranet. There's a lot of forms in here and a lot of information, marketing information here that you guys can get. So once you're in here, you go to Market Center, you go to Documents. Okay, and then here, so you have all these different material here. So listing and buyer presentations. Okay, and then you have different resources here. So this is a buyer presentation template, a listing presentation, a pre-listing presentation. So this is actually in a PowerPoint format, and this is the one I used. And you have to save it to look into, but I'll show you mine. But those are the two locations. So depending on your format, these are the two different templates that you can use. You guys know where to go? You're clear on where to go to get the templates?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So now what goes into a listing presentation? Like I said, this is, you want to put your best foot forward. Like, what are your strengths? So you want to always highlight your strengths, right? From a value perspective. My particular strength is that I like to focus on CMAs, right? I think I'm good with numbers, and that's what I feel comfortable with. So, I mean, I do my presentation, like all the fluff, right? I call it the fluff, right? Your specialists, what you've done and so forth. But my thing is, like, I'm good with numbers, and I think I do good CMAs. And like, that's what I like to focus on, is the marketing side of it, the market analysis side of things. So my recommendation is, when you guys set up your presentation, identify your strengths, because everybody has different strengths, and make that a focal point of your presentation. And then of course you need all the fluff to go with it, right? Talk about that too. But you really, to make put your best foot forward, you really need to identify what your strengths are. And everybody has different strengths. Nobody is the same, right? So make that the focal point of your presentation. Does that make sense? And turn off your phone when you're there. Okay, so the first page, this is all just, I'll take you through it really quickly, but this is a template. I actually got this from a template. I haven't updated it in quite some time, but talk about yourself, all the uncomfortable stuff, right? Talking about yourself, right? Try to pull up all your experience, things that you can contribute and add value to your client, to your seller. You talk about Keller Williams as a whole, right? How they were #1 in real estate. You can have, there's a video that you can attach here, a story that you can attach, giving the belief system of Keller Williams. Believe it or not, people really love to hear about the culture of the company, because the culture of the company is going to, I guess, express to them how they're going to be working with you, right? They want to make sure they can work with a company that they can trust. So we always talk about trust, right? Trust being like the #1 thing a seller or a buyer, and the buyer wants, right? So when you're sitting with them and you're talking about how you're rooted in your community, the previous slide talking about yourself, talking about the company, it's all about being open and up front with all this information, so they feel comfortable, they can trust you, they understand what you're about, they understand what the company is about, right? And that's about adding value to them. All right, next one. Your needs come first, right? It's all about the client, right? This is all your contact information, how they can reach you, your social media pages, your links up to your MLSs. Do you guys know that you can create links to do searches in your MLS mobile apps?
No.
There's actually, we have our Keller Williams app, of course. You guys know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
The MLSs have an app also. So like in my email signature, if you guys get my email signature from my Gmail, it'll say, go to here for my CGMLS mobile app. So like this one, for example, this is my CGMLS mobile app. Or my HomeSpotter one is I believe this was the GSMLS. HomeSnap was, you have to update this, at the time was Trend or Bright. It's Bright now. So you do have, if you go into these MLSs that you guys are members of, you can find these links to the mobile apps, and you can add these to your email signature, to your presentation, and people that are your clients, they can click on it and do searches, and it's marketed to you. It's got your profile, it's all you. So that's a nice little thing to add too. They'll always see you guys, not Zillow, right? I try to always push them to do that, not Zillow, not realtor.com, they'll see you, right? And then the next few pages is kind of your portfolio, houses you've sold, listings you've done. And, you know, newer agents will say, well, you know, I haven't done any, you know, what am I going to do? I mean, we're a team here, right? We're a team. So pull up some office listings, pull up some office listings, put on there what the office has sold recently, right? You're not misrepresenting, right? You could say, oh, well, my office worked on this. My office did this, right? If you're, you know, going to an open house, you know, write that down, say, oh, I'm actively involved. I did an open house in this, right? It's not misrepresent, it's what you're doing, right? So, try to be, you know, just remember, it's hard when you're a newer agent, you know, that question that's going to come up during the presentation. How long have you been doing real estate, right? Like I always say, you mention it and then you move on, right? You pivot, you're a politician, right? And you start focusing on, well, I have a team of people. I have a whole team behind me to support me and you, right? When you get me, you're not getting one person, you're getting an entire team, an entire office. It's the Keller Williams culture. Right? It's not an agent for themselves, right? All right. And then you kind of go through with them the process, right? And take time with this. I mean, you guys will know the process. They're not going to know it as well. You know, take a little time so they understand. One of the key things when doing these presentations is you're also setting expectations with your seller, right? So not only are you, you know, saying this is the value I have that I could add to listing your home and selling your home, but these are also the expectations. So walk them through what they can expect. Explain to them some of the challenges that you could face during each of these, right? It's better, you're informing them, you're keeping them informed, right? So they know the process cold, but also keeping it open that, you know, things change all the time, right? This is a very dynamic business, right? So nothing is always going to be the same. Everything's going to change, but that they know that they have you, right, to guide them through the process, to think things through, how to solve problems that will arise, and that they know that with you, that they will have a very smooth transaction, right? And again, you have a team supporting you, you have a mortgage company, you have a title company, you're built to make it easy, right? You're built to make it easy for them. So when you're talking about the process, bring all of that up. These are all things that add value to you. And then the marketing plan, right? So now the marketing plan. People like to hear about this stuff, right? This is the HGTV stuff, right? This is the stuff like they see on TV about how you're gonna make the house kind of stand out and shine, right? So this is all in the template. You know, we talk about pricing, staging, putting out a really nice yard sign. You know, if you guys haven't gotten any signs yet for your open house or for, you know, listing, you know, please go ahead and start ordering, especially for open house, right? I would try to get like 8 open house signs so you're ready to go. Because they're directionals, right? Try to get like 8. When I started, I got 8 of them. And then maybe add in like 1 or 2 listing signs, you know, at least 1 for now. You get discount on bulk. So just to have it ready. So you guys are kind of ready to go. So you're not kind of caught, you know, if you have to do an open house or a listing pops up, you know, so that you're ready. So you talk about open houses, you talk about targeted networking. So that includes like, you know, dealing with other agents, communicating with other agents. You know, this is all in a template. This is, you have the Keller Williams listing system, right? The KWLS. And then the MLS, of course, the exposure, you know, list all the MLSs that you're a part of. Your plan is also includes door knocking, photography, right? All the stuff we do, the videography, the print marketing, right? If you print out brochures, show like Ash's cards, like your mailers that you do. All of these are value added to your clients. Any digital marketing, like through slideshows, through social media, your email campaigns, right? In the mobile marketing, what I spoke about, the apps, right? It looks impressive, right? Like you've got apps to all these different MLSs, right? Okay, we talk about coming soon campaigns, just listed campaigns, just sold campaigns. So like these are just some examples that you would do on a coming soon, right? Campaign. After you just list it, then what do you do? So you send out an email blast, how you're promoting an open house, like all these things. And again, this is in the template. And then when you sell a property, you're also marketing, just sold, right? Make it a big deal, right? That you sold. And then, you have a follow-up plan. So how you find your buyer, very important. We learned this in Ignite and Spark, right? When we do these courses, those training courses, most people find their home through the internet, right? Most will use a real estate agent to do that. And then of course you have like all the other little things that come behind it. But this is important because you want to stress to them that if most buyers find it on the internet and through you as an agent. So all of your marketing plan is based around those top two, the highest hits on the buyer's mind as far as finding a home. The internet includes all of these sites. When you guys put a listing in the MLS and it gets syndicated, Zillow picks it up, Realtor picks it up, but so do all these other sites. They're all interconnected. So they're also getting picked up on these other sites as well. Trulia, Front Door, it goes out to all of these. All right, advertising. You have an email database, the KW website that you have. And then on your website, you can actually put your listing front and center. There's a way to do that on the website. You guys can change that around. Like you may have the office listings right now going through, but you can actually change it to make it your listings too. Okay, you'll have just listed flyers, mailings that you'll do. These you can, also make them social media posts, right? Signs, open houses. We haven't really done, have you guys seen many broker open houses? I haven't seen them at all. I think they're like dinosaurs now, these broker open houses. In every MLS territory has a different day that they like to do these they used to do these broker open houses. GSMLS was on Wednesdays. They used to do them, and then the brokers would meet up, have lunch, that kind of stopped now a little bit, but that was a way for the brokers to mingle. They mingle on in, right? But that kind of stopped now a little bit. But, having a nice sign really matters. This is an example of what my sign looks like. I think I had really nice, I like my signs. Like, it just they look nice. They look professional. I mean, having a good sign, a good quality sign really goes a long way. So, and it doesn't cost that much. Like I had the bigger sign made, double-sided through Build-A-Sign. Build-A-Sign is really, really good. You can customize them. The posts, believe it or not, cost the most. The posts cost more than the sign. But it doesn't have to be a huge sign. Just make the sign look really nice, really professional, right? It's all about first impressions, right? All right. Staging, right? Now this is going to be a conversation you have with, based obviously when you guys do a walkthrough of their home, right? The main thing is declutter and clean, right? So the first step is removing clutter and cleaning. And then if it needs some staging, you'll have staging resources available to them, right? They also do now virtual staging with photography too. So there's many, many different options through the virtual access tours. You know, they had different options when the guy did that presentation during the last office meeting. So you can make these pictures look amazing on the MLS as long as you disclose it. So if you guys are going to do any kind of virtual staging, or even regular staging, as long as in the MLS you specify that underneath the description of the picture, like virtually staged or you know, so you're not misrepresenting. But it really makes the house look beautiful, right? People's first impression when they walk in, it's all about that first impression. So staging can go a long way, but the first step is really decluttering, right, and cleaning. Really, really good cleaning. And you'll have stagers, you know, available if they want to do that. So these are just like photos for the future, which is Jin's company. Whoever you guys use, virtual access tours, these are the two that I have used. If you guys have other people, you know, put them in your presentation, the ones that you use. It's a relationship you guys personally will have with these photographers. So those are what I use. And then describe what you do at your open house, right? And we're going to have a training session on open houses on Thursday evening in preparation for the weekend. So this is going to be a description of that. Okay, pricing your home. This is where I particularly spend a lot of time with my sellers, because like I said, this is my strength. So whatever strength you guys have, you should focus on. But you should also definitely talk about pricing the home, because that's one of the most important keys to your listing presentation. You can't overprice a home, right? And this slide talks about how to attract buyers based on price. You know, how if you have it overpriced, you know, how it reduces the activity of the buyers coming to the home, right? So reinforcing the right price, how competing competitively, right, over time. That's why you got to get the price right, because the length of time on the market reduces the market value of the home. That's why it's so key to have the correct price in place. This talks about the first 30 days. They say the first 30 days, and then they really talk about the first 2 weeks. It's actually even earlier than that. You guys will know after your first open house how things are going. And this is, again, the price is something you really need to set expectations with the seller when you go, because it doesn't pertain as much now with this whole COVID environment. I mean, things are selling like nobody's business, right? We know that everything's going overpriced and all these things. But, you know, when the market does come back into balance, and it will, it is important to set expectations with your clients to say, you know, this is what we propose the price to be. However, based on feedback, based on activity at the open house, did we receive offers? Did we, how low or how high were the offers? Is really going to be an indicator of how you're going to proceed, because you don't want to go too long. You don't want to go too long with the price, right, being where it's at. So if you need to set expectations about lowering price based on all those things like feedback, activity, you know, let them know ahead of time. Let them know at your listing presentation, so it's not a surprise to them, right? Those setting expectations is very important, especially with those difficult sellers, right? And then having that difficult conversation is much, much easier later. Right, pricing misconceptions, right? This is all, like my slides here is just all geared towards why price is so important. All right, your selling checklists, everything you need in your paperwork so that they know what to expect and what kind of paperwork that they're going to get. And then preparing the home, right? It is a process, you know. Rarely do you get a home that's like right off the bat ready to go, right? Except now with COVID, if you do get it, nobody cares, right? Nobody cares. They just go and they want a home. But, you know, again, in the normal balanced environment, you know, it takes time to prepare a home, right? The home's got to be neat. It's got to be clean. It has to be decluttered, all those things. So go through a checklist with them. Have a list of specialists that you guys use, right? That that they can take advantage of, knowing if they use you, that you have a team, again, a team. It's not just you, of people and specialists to help. And then give your closing thoughts. Just summarize the closing process, what the process is, what the seller is expected to pay, right, as part of their closing costs, what the buyer typically pays, and then after the closing, what you make sure that they have for their tax purposes. And then this is just my promise. It's like your testimonials, have a link to your testimonials, try to keep them somewhere. So, when you guys do closings or you do even sales like buys, send them a link. Like Zillow is a good place for them to put testimonials in, or they can send you an email and you can enter it in yourself, but those testimonials are pretty valuable, or they can do a Google review, right? So many different ways that they could do it. And then just give a summary, and that's it. That's my presentation. And it's like I said, you guys will make it your own, right? Do you have any questions about this?
So some of this is available in the KW Connect, you said?
Yeah, this template that I used was in the KW intranet.
Internet, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, so when you log in and you go to the intranet,
Yeah.
and then you go to Market Center, and then documents, and it's under presentations, listing and buyer presentations.
So you
And
basically
that's a PowerPoint.
and modify according to your.
Yeah, it's a template, and then you guys just have to build it.
Okay.
And you can use that one, or you can use Command.
Okay.
And then if there's other sources that you have that you like and you want to use, you feel free to use them too. But at least this gives you sort of a template that you can build on.
So we got to have one of these ready, basically, in case you come up with a listing. You're not scrambling to prepare a presentation, right?
Yeah, so have it ready. Every client is different. Some people, maybe you sit there and literally go through a PowerPoint with them, right? Or a PDF printout, right? Like go page by page through the PDF, right? Some people want that. I like to have a conversation. So for me, I don't really pull out my laptop and go through each slide. I kind of internalize and know the order of things that I'm going to talk about, and it's sort of in my mind, and I go through it. And then if I have to refer to like some of those graphs for the pricing and so forth, then I will do that, because visually it makes more sense, right? When you're talking about numbers and money and pricing, right? To see graphs and visuals, right? But a lot of, like, I call it the fluff, right? The fluff of this, you guys should kind of internalize, and it'll come out natural. Speak it naturally when you're there. But it's going to come with practice, right? You're going to have to do a few have a few listing meetings, to figure that out. But like I said, if you want to pull out the laptop and do go through each one of these, that's perfectly fine too. However way you feel comfortable with, there's no right or wrong. Because you guys are going to perform best when you're doing things that make you feel comfortable. So never feel like you need to be a certain way or do things like this or that. There's no set way. It's whatever you guys feel comfortable with. And then make this your own. Make this your own. Again, so it's yours. It's a piece of you. I mean, this presentation is you. It's about presenting your value, what you add to this. So identify your strength, focus on that, and you should be just fine.
And where do you get the office?
You have a team. You have a team. You're not alone. Yes?
Where do you get the office listings from to include in this? Because if we don't have any listings, the new agents, then.
Well, I mean, you could do a search in the Garden State MLS.
Okay.
You can do a search in the CJ MLS under office.
Okay.
Okay, you can do it that way. Yeah, and that's perfectly fine. You say my office has these homes listed currently. I was actively doing open houses for this list. Whatever, you're not misrepresenting. It's a fact, right? It's a fact, because like I said, we're a team. We're all inclusive.
I have a question. If you
Mm-hmm.
have a client that wants to sell the homes as is with tenants, do you still have to put in a presentation, an open house and staging, or is that something that you wouldn't have an open house for because there's still tenants in there?
Well, you could still have an open house. It would just have to be, you would just need to have a conversation with the tenants to make themselves vanish while you do the open house. You know, it's really, when you have tenants, it's a little harder, because, you know, the owner, or the landlord in this case, you know, it's not only his, you know, what he wants, we have to work around tenants, right? So have that you can have a conversation with the tenants and a good understanding.
So that would the house still be need to be staged? Since that would be a lot harder to
Yeah,
get a tenant.
no, you can't really do that. Yeah, you
Okay.
can't, but have a conversation with the tenants to explain to them, you know, that they need to have the place cleaned and good, you know, looking, you know, decent. People are going to be walking through. And if they're good tenants, they usually will listen. You know, it's not going to be
Okay.
immaculate. It's not going to be perfect. And people coming to see it understand, but it should be decent, right? Should be decent.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Mhm. Any other questions? Listing presentations? If you guys want to put something together and send it to me and we can review it, that's fine. I'm open for that.
So I'll start working on one. It'll take time, right?
It takes time. It takes some time. The template is pretty good though. Template's pretty complete. And like I said, if you, even if you don't end up using it, I've never sat here and gone through each and every one. At least it helps you organize your thoughts and you have a little more confidence going in what you're going to talk about. Right.
Okay.
And I do print these out when I give them my folder at the house when I'm meeting with them. I do print it out. It's like just something extra to give them, and I put it in the folder for them with the CMA, so they can kind of go through it. Okay. All right, guys. Any other questions? If not, then I will see you this evening, 6 p.m. We're going to be doing basically a rental listing, a lease, writing up a lease agreement, and the NTN process. All going to try to do it in an hour. The listing part is actually pretty simple. The lease is a little more complicated, but simple too. And then the NTN has the new process. So we can we'll get it all done in an hour. But it's all kind of interrelated, because when you guys do listings for rentals, the listing agent does a lot of this on their own, not so much on the buying side. You know, you write up the agreement, you do the contract, the lease contract writing, right, and all those things. So it's all kind of interrelated. So, all right, guys.
Thanks, Sophia.
Thank you. Yep. Thank you for
Okay,
coming.
Sophia, thank you.
All right, and I
Thank
hope to see you guys tonight.
Yeah, see you.
All right.
I'll see you
bye-bye.
tonight. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you, Sophia.
No problem. Bye.